In the last video, we showed you how to log into the dashboards and how to manipulate what you see on the dashboards. In this video, I'm going to show you how to download what you see in various formats so that you can actually use the data in your own work. You can put them in your own documents or do your own research, collect your own data set. Tableau allows you to download various parts of the dashboard down here at the bottom. Below each dashboard, you have a set of options here, and the one we're going to talk about is the download option. So if you click on it, you'll see there you can download various formats. The image and PDF we'll talk about very briefly because they're not that useful. The PowerPoint is kind of useful, but I think the thing that you're going to want to download the most is the Crosstab of the data. So let's go through the image. You only have one option. When you click on image, it basically will prompt you to save an image file, a PNG file, which you can put into various documents. But if you save it, you'll notice that it basically just takes a screenshot, right? We can't see half of Saracoso's data. We can't see any of Porterville's data. We have this kind of ugly course attributes filters on the right here. To use each of these, you would have to kind of use image editing software. So there might be some use cases where everything you need is on the screen, and that's the case. You can do that. I don't know you could just do a screenshot. It's the same thing. So yeah, like I said, not that useful. Let's skip down to PDF real quick. The PDF will allow you, as you might guess, download whatever you want to a PDF. Now we have a different dialog box. We have some options here. We can do this view, which does the same thing as the image. It just takes a snapshot of the whole thing, puts it in a PDF. Or you can select specific sheets from this dashboard or specific sheets from this workbook. Each element of the dashboard is in a sheet. That's how Tableau works. For your purposes, dashboard and workbook are kind of the same thing. So if we click on dashboard, right, specific sheets from the dashboard, we get the choice of which things we want to download. So let's say we want to download the course count chart. The name will appear once you hover over it, right? So let's say we want that one. Let's download that, and let's download the data table as well. It'll generate the PDF and prompt you to save it here in a second. Let's save it and open it. And you can see it creates this for you, right? It creates the PDF. The first page is the chart that we selected. This doesn't look great because it's kind of scrunched up. I think there are some options where you can put this at the bottom. And it does the data table. Now the data table takes up 2 pages, as you see. That's because there's not enough room for all the years in portrait orientation. So maybe you want to do this in landscape orientation. Now, once you're in here, you really can't do anything. That's how PDFs work, right? So if you wanted to put this in another PDF, that might be useful. Or if you just wanted to send this data exactly as is to someone, then that's useful. But the inability to manipulate it unless you have Adobe Acrobat, and even then in Adobe Acrobat, manipulating this or editing this is difficult. So I generally don't think this is that useful either. Our next option is the PowerPoint file. As you might guess, this downloads to a Microsoft PowerPoint slide deck. So if I click on here, again, I have the options to download the view as a PowerPoint slide, but usually I want to do specific sheets. So again, we don't want the headers. Let's do the course count just because it's the easiest right there. Let's also do the data table. So if I download that, same process, it'll prompt you to save. And then we open PowerPoint, and then you can see it creates a PowerPoint slide deck for us. It even creates a title page, which I find kind of humorous because I can't imagine just using this as a presentation. But each element has its own page. Here's a course count page, or the chart. As you can see, it puts a chart. Now this is interesting in that this is now an image file. You could actually cut and paste this into a Word file, and I find that probably easier than using the actual image file, which is probably something Tableau needs to fix, but right now this is basically your best bet to get a picture file. If you click on the table, here's our data, but if you notice, if you click on it, it's actually a picture file as well, so you can't manipulate this, right? So if you wanted to use a different font than what I'm using, that's too bad. You would just have, like I said, you're stuck with this, and manipulating it, like if you wanted to change the size, you can see it distorts it kind of, right? So this is an okay option. There are probably some use cases for this, but as is, this is probably not going to help you. Probably the most useful one is you want the data. I mean, you probably just want this in table form, right? So that you can do your own things with it, right? So if you notice, data is grayed out. If you click inside one of these individual elements, it'll actually allow you to download summary data. But the way it's formatted is weird, so I wouldn't worry about it. It doesn't just to remind you, it doesn't let you download student level data because we want to protect. We don't want to make that too widely available. So your best bet is to download as a crosstab. So if you click on here, again, you get to pick what you want downloaded as a crosstab, right? So most likely you want the data table. Actually, before we do that, let's just change this. Let's change this. Let's say we want to compare. Let's see, dual enrollment courses, right? So this changes this to dual enrollment, and then let's download this to a crosstab. We just want the data table, and we'll download this. And then when you do it, you get an Excel file with all of the data just exactly like you want it. There are a few more labels, but you just kind of have to remember this is, yes, that they are a dual enrollment course. Let's make this so you can see things. And now you're free to manipulate this however you want, right? Let's say you want to make a pie chart of the course count over the 5 years. You can do that now, right? So this, there are lots of applications for this, right? Our graphics, our dashboard is designed to just kind of give data to people to do kind of general understanding of what happened over the last 5 years. You can do a lot more with this, and this the download to Crosstab allows you to manipulate data's or the actual data into a format that you can do other things with. So, all right, those are our download options. The next video will go into each of the program review dashboards and what's in them.